What is going on, guys? This is Lior with Compass and welcome back to the channel. Now, what I thought I would do today is I know a lot of you guys watching these videos are trying to buy a home around the Boston area, and as a lot of you guys know, the market is absolutely bananas right now, right? It is a really hard time to be a buyer. It's just very competitive. There's not a lot of inventory, particularly in the greater Boston area. So what I thought I would do is give you guys my story of how I bought my first home, right? I just bought it just under half a year ago, and kind of give you guys the things I thought through, how I kind of went through the process. A lot of it is the same things I say to all the buyers I work with. So hopefully this will be motivation, inspiration, help, and some helpful tactics for your home buying journey. So with that, let's get at it. What's going on, guys? This is Lior and welcome back to the channel. So as I said, I'm super excited to share with you my story of how I ended up buying my very first personal residence. It's something that I know a lot of you guys are looking to do, so I think this will be an awesome video. Before I get into it, first of all, guys, I thought I would completely start scratching the green screen for my videos. If you guys have looked at my older videos, I used to do a lot of green screen, but now that I've kind of started decorating the walls, as you can see behind me, thought I'd kind of give this a little bit more of a studio feel. I got some more art pieces coming along the way. So if you like this studio, by the way, if you like my art, make sure you comment below. But anyway, before we get into the meat of the potatoes, as always, guys, if this is your first time on my channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I put out tons of videos every single week, talking about all about different aspects of lifestyle and around the greater Boston area, tips on buying, selling, investing, neighborhood overviews, and so much more. So make sure you smash that subscribe button. And number two, if you guys are thinking about doing anything with real estate around the greater Boston area, whether it's buying, selling, investing, whatever it is, hit me up on phone, email, text, whatever your preference is below. I get so many calls from you guys watching my videos, and I absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about doing anything, hit me up and I will definitely help you out. So I'm gonna dive right into my story, and as some of you guys may have known, if you've seen some of my older videos too, I bought my first couple of properties were investment properties, right? So I did actually live in a couple of them as well. They were owner-occupied loans. But for this video, I'm gonna focus on my first true personal residence, right? This is a condo. This is just a condo, this is not an investment property that I live in. So I'm gonna kind of really focus the story on that. And when I first really got motivated and really decided, all right, I'm gonna go buy my personal residence, I, like a lot of you, started with some higher level criteria, right? So first I thought about which locations around the Boston area do I want to live in. So for me, my top location, even though I knew it was a little bit of a stretch, was going to be Cambridge. A little bit of a pricey market, but I was also comfortable going to areas like Somerville, Jamaica Plain, and South Boston, right? For me, it was really important to be somewhere centralized with good highway systems. I also want some bars and restaurants pretty close by to me, and all of those areas really fit the bill. Now, in terms of condition, I was pretty flexible. Like I said, I own investment property, so I've done work before, I've done construction work before. So I was fine either buying something that's turnkey, or if I really loved it, I was fine renovating. That didn't really bother me too much. But what I really wanted, what I was really hard about, was I wanted private outdoor space, right? Especially in the wake of the pandemic, that was something really important for me. I mean, in the summer, spring, and fall, I love hanging outside, just like reading a book or listening to some music. So I knew that was definitely going to be my ideal, one of my key criteria. Ideally, it was going to be a roof deck. That was really kind of my top choice, but of course I would have settled for something other than a roof deck as well. So once I kind of had my base criteria outlined, then like I tell a lot of you guys, you got to go get your financing lined up, right? So I went to my lender, started to get the pre-approval process lined up, submitted all my financial docs. Like I suggest to a lot of you, it's actually, for me, it's actually a little messier, right? And anyone that's watching this video, if you're a business owner or if you're a 1099 contractor, your financials are typically a little harder to kind of push through on the pre-approval process. Lenders tend to ask some more questions. There's a lot more things a little floating in the air. So that took a little bit longer than usual. But if you're someone that's W-2 employed, you've got a salary job, it's typically pretty easy, right? You just submit your pay stubs. The lender will look at all your debt, your credit scores, and all that. So the lender did that for me, just had to go through a little bit more paperwork to really hammer out that pre-approval. So once I kind of hammered out that pre-approval, then it was time to get right in and start looking at homes. So I'll tell you guys this, I probably looked for about 2 to 3 months before I found the right home for me. That's usually what I tell most people that reach out to me, right? Is look, it's unlikely you're gonna find the perfect home right away. I mean, it certainly does happen. I've had people that have literally bought the first or second home they saw, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer, which is totally fine. Now, along the way too, I started to kind of modify my criteria as well, right? Because as I tell a lot of people, there is no such thing as a perfect home, unfortunately. You're gonna have to kind of reprioritize a lot of the things that you wanted in a home, right? So other factors that I was considering when I was buying a home, I was looking at one bed condos. I was also considering 2-bed, but I didn't really feel like buying a 2-bedroom. But what I really did want, what I really thought I'd like was a separate office space, right? Because as a real estate agent, I'm obviously on the road a lot, but I also do a lot of my work from home, right? Especially with the pandemic, I don't really go into the office anymore. So I was, in an ideal world, I wanted a separate office from my bedroom because I don't always love the idea of combining your office and bedroom in one room. Now, what's funny is in the condo that I bought and that I'm sitting here in South Boston, I don't have a separate office, right? I only have basically a very big bedroom that kind of actually worked out, right? I kind of split the bedroom a little bit between the bed section and the office section, but it just goes to show you that you're gonna have to get a little flexible sometimes, right? Sometimes there's not gonna be a perfect home that's gonna hit all of your criteria. So you're just gonna have to be a little flexible and really figure out, okay, what am I really hard on and what am I willing to work with? The other criteria that I kind of bended on a little bit was for my condo, I didn't prefer to be on a first floor unit. I really preferred to be on a second or third floor. Just because I don't love the idea of being on a first floor for whatever reason. But again, the unit that I bought was a first floor unit. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my condo. I love my house. I couldn't be any happier where I'm at. But it's just one of those things again that you think you kind of are, you think you have some preferences, but once you start looking enough units and you really hone down what's like you're not going to bend on, you're going to figure out a lot of those, you're going to reprioritize a lot of those criteria. Now, in terms of the process of submitting offers, as I've said on many other videos and as I tell everyone that reaches out to me, right? It basically comes down to a volume game, right? Especially in a competitive real estate market like Boston. It's somewhat unlikely that your first offer is going to get accepted, right? You're probably going to have to submit a lot of offers, especially if you're looking at competitive products like single families or multifamilies, right? I think I ended up probably submitting somewhere between 5 to 10 offers. I don't remember the exact amount, but I put in a good handful of offers before I got this the offer accepted on this particular home. And believe me, some of the units that I submitted on, I absolutely loved. I remember in particular, there was one unit in Cambridge that I just was crazy about. It was the top of my budget, and then someone just came in with a cash offer, kind of blew my offer away. And it's just one of those things that you have to get comfortable with, right? It's, you're gonna put your best foot forward, and if you get it accepted, that's amazing. If not, you just gotta be comfortable and happy to say, you know what, it's all good. I'm gonna find just as good of a unit, or not, if not better than this one. And one other thing I'll say about looking through listings, kind of like I talk with a lot of you guys that reach out to me, is, obviously there's the inventory that you can see on the market, right? For you guys that are not agents, you can see that inventory on sites like Zillow, Realtor.com, obviously like Compass.com, right? I'm with Compass. I gotta give them a shout out. But you can, there's obviously publicly available inventory. And then there's also inventory that is not on the market, right? So if you reach out to an agent, if they're well networked, well connected, they're gonna know about specific homes, units, buildings, whatever it is that you're looking for that may not always be on the market, right? So Then the first couple of offers that I submitted, and actually that Cambridge unit, I remember, those were all publicly available units that were listed on the market that I loved, and I tried to get them, but it didn't work out. Now, what's funny was this particular unit that I bought was actually a coming soon listing, right? So it was through an agent that I knew and I had a relationship with. He actually worked at the same company as me at Compass. And, he kind of put the word out there that he was going to be listing this awesome 1-bedroom in South Boston. And I kind of reached out to him and I said, look, I'm an agent, but I'm looking for myself. And we were able to put the deal together actually before the unit ever hit the market, which was really, really nice. So my point for you guys watching the video, there are options out there of potentially finding listings that are not always on the market. Again, I'd say the majority of times, most people buy stuff that's on the market, but there certainly are options out there for maybe getting a little creative, especially in a competitive market like this, where we can go hunt coming soon listings, off-market listings, and so forth. So that was kind of the process for me in terms of finding my unit, putting an offer in, getting it accepted, etc. In terms of the criteria, like I said, I hit actually most of my important criteria. I did get my outdoor space. I've got an awesome deck that I love, and actually a patio with it as well. So, that actually was probably one of the big things that really sold me on the unit, even though I absolutely love the interior as well. But again, I knew the things that I really wanted, and I hit those. The things that I had strong preferences for, some of them I got, some of them I didn't. But again, I am extremely happy. Couldn't be, I absolutely love my home, and I really wouldn't trade it for anything else. Now, the last point I'm gonna make in this video, and is again something that I tell everyone that I work with. But as I mentioned, Boston is incredibly competitive market right now, right? And especially in a hyper seller market like we are right now, you are going to need to be pretty flexible as a buyer. When I was buying this unit, one of the terms that I had to accept in order to get my offer accepted was that the seller would have what's called a use of occupancy of the home post-closing, right? Because basically the situation my seller was in was she was buying a home out of state that was being built, right? And she didn't have an exact sense of when it was going to be finished, right? I mean, she knew it was probably going to be finished sometime in the next 45 to 60 days, but there wasn't a specific hard deadline, right? I mean, construction is construction and it can take longer. So one of the things that we put in there was basically I would close on the unit, right? I would still sign on the unit, and then the seller would reserve the right to stay in the unit for up to, I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks post-closing until her home was ready, right? Because she knew there was probably going to be an extra week or two of waiver, right? And I had to accept that, right? I mean, it was a free occupancy agreement. I didn't charge her rent or anything like that. But, so when I tell people, hey, it's competitive, you're probably going to have to really bend a little bit, work with the seller to really make yourself stand out. That's one of the things I literally did myself, right? I literally gave her a free occupancy of this unit, even though I owned it, for an additional number of weeks to make her transition to her next home as smooth as possible, right? Because that really solidified my offer and, made her want to work with me. So, as you guys go through the marketplace, if you find yourselves getting outbid, or if you're just not getting offers accepted, just remember there are other creative terms. I've done specific videos on this particular topic. Make sure to check them out. I'll link them as well. But that is definitely an important factor in getting your offer secured in such a competitive market like Boston. So hopefully that helps, guys. Hopefully that kind of it gives you an idea of what the process is like. Us agents go through the same exact process. Believe me, it's just as stressful. There's just as many things as moving, but it certainly is possible to find a really great home around the Boston area. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, just shoot them below, and I will definitely help you out.